47-minute illegal interview on my daughter.
Full of truly terrible news stories.
Do you have any opinions on that?
And has affected your attitude towards the WA police force.
He misused the government's credit card whilst he was on holiday.
Suing the state of WA and you, Carlo Callaghan.
Of course, all those pressing issues here in Perth. Hello and welcome to our brand new series of Undercurrent. We certainly hope you think it's worth the wait. My name is Kristy Mollica. Well, first up on tonight's show, Angela Evans has a chat with a former Perth finance broker who is suing a bank over fraud.
This is the story of how one local family is standing up to the banking system. It all started back in 2007 when Uwe Schaefer and his wife took out a home loan with RHG Mortgage Corporation. At the time, Uwe was working as a finance broker and, as was within his rights, he contacted RHG requesting information regarding the source of the funds.
Today is a court hearing where the bank is trying to get possession of our house. Okay, I used to be a finance broker, and about 3 years ago I discovered that a number of things are very wrong in the banking system and that there is much dishonesty and fraud involved in how bank loans are actually set up. So over the last 3 years I asked these questions to my bank, and in order not to just base things on hearsay and say I've read it on the internet, we actually put our own house on the line. What we're doing today is shining a light into the justice system of Australia, because so far my investigations and many friends that I have made through this time has revealed that there is not a single ruling in favour of homeowners that even had proven that things weren't quite as they are expected. So it appears that the justice system is very much biased and swayed towards the banks.
When no answers were provided, Uwe declined to continue with his mortgage payments temporarily. RHG then decided to take Uwe and his wife to court. However, if we dig a little deeper, it seems as though several people have been stung by the big banks. I spoke to a few of Uwe's supporters, several of whom have been affected by the loss of their homes, falsified documents and mounting mortgage payments.
There's a phenomenal amount of people who are losing their homes throughout Australia. We are in the GFC of Australia, and we lost our home to bank fraud.
I'm here today because I appeared in those courts, and my father built up an empire, which I helped him from the 50s, and the empire was 275 mil, and that building, a group of lawyers in Perth have stolen all our assets, put them under their control for 80 years, and that building produced a Mickey Mouse judgment, which is the Chief Justice. He produced a Mickey Mouse judgment to cover the fraud.
The banks are always saying that they have no knowledge of what's going on. They don't know what their other branches are doing. They don't know what their own members are doing. And they use this as an excuse every single time to say that they have no responsibility whatsoever. And it's just the brokers. But it's really a mixture of predatory lending with the bank, knowing that they can get more from us by having us lose everything.
Unfortunately, Uwe failed to win the case, but this doesn't mean that he's giving up.
I was quite surprised. Initially I thought that there was sufficient material on the court record, and I still believe there is, for this to not have been ruled, because a summary judgment as this was can only be given in the clearest of cases where there is no doubt whatsoever.
They can't come to court as a plaintiff saying that they've suffered damages if they can't prove that they have. It should have been certainly not awarded summary judgment, but I think there's a real question mark about whether any bank should ever be able to come into the West Australian Supreme Court or any court in this country without first putting its cards up on the table and saying, look, this is how the loan was originated and here's how the funds were provided and by whom.
This whole work is not just about our property. The whole thing that we've been doing for 2 or 3 years, the discovery and the immense amount of work and study that we've invested into this, there's a whole group of us, is that we want to return law and order and the rule of law to this country, because it has none.
Uwe is hoping to appeal the decision and continue fighting. It will no doubt be a long road, but his supporters will be there along the way. I'm Angela Evans, reporting for Undercurrent.
It's a busy store, a one-stop shop for the freshest local produce, a lot of love and a lot of service. But what if I was to tell you this family-owned business are being forced to pack up and leave to make way for a Liquorland store? Mohammed and his son Matt have been running the Swanview fruit and veg store for 5 years. It has become their pride and joy.
Store it means to me everything. Yeah, because we live basically with the store, and if we don't have this store, we don't have anything.
Devastated to see all their hard work going to waste, the two haven't had to reach far for support. Outraged by the proposal, the community of Swanview aren't going down without a fight. In the space of only 10 days, a petition organised by local resident Jen has attracted more than 5,000 signatures.
Knowing that the community is behind us, they're not just signing a piece of paper and walking away from it, they're committed to seeing it all the way through. I mean, this was the first step.
I will thank you for their time and their effort, and it really helped us a lot in terms of this case.
On Wednesday, a group of locals headed to Mundaring Council House to bring a stop to the takeover.
We ruffled some feathers in there. Hopefully they can sit back and they can think about what their actions are going to be like to the community, and we can go from there.
Mario led the group during question time.
The campaign continues. I think you're not going to stop this community from getting their voices heard. We want to invite Charter Hall to sit down and talk to the local community. We want to sit down with Coles as well and have our voices heard.
Matt and Mohammed have been operating off monthly lease extension payments after their lease expired at the end of 2012. Then, out of the blue, the shopping centre's real estate management body, Charter Hall, told them that their time was up and they had to move on.
It made me really upset because it wasn't fair. If they wanted to do that, they let me know at least 1 year before, while I had some money to look after myself and my family. At this stage, so I really didn't know. I'm just lost. I didn't know what to do.
The company declined to comment, leaving us with this email response. Swanview Fruit and Veg is currently on a month-to-month lease, and despite numerous meetings with them over the past 2 years, we have unfortunately been unable to agree a new fixed-term lease with them, as per our standard practice with all retailers at the centre. As such, we have entered into an agreement with a new retailer to join the centre. Mohammed comes down each and every morning to the Canning Vale markets to collect fresh produce for his store. Local producers are really starting to feel the pinch by the big food chains.
As it is, we're losing a lot of shops with the Woolies and the Coles taking over, so we need to keep as many private fruit and veg people as we can. It'll affect our business in a big way because he won't buy anything from here. It'll affect everybody's business in this complex.
Coles were contacted but declined an interview, leaving us with this email response. Coles and Liquorland remain focused on what we can do to best serve the community of Swanview and how we can serve them with choice, great range and great value. 3 liquor stores are in the Swanview area, one of them just 500 metres up the road. Adding to the equation is the local primary school, high school and kindergarten, and the local grocer has become a safe drop-off pickup for the parents.
They just getting at the age of 17, 18, which is they are allowed to buy whatever they want. So if there's a bottle shop here, so I don't know what the parents thinking about that. The parents basically cannot control the kids while they are coming to the bottle shop here, or they're going to go to school. It's quite dangerous for the future of this country.
With their Facebook page, petition and emails to the council in full swing, Jen is optimistic community power can turn things around.
But we have to amp it up, change it around, make sure we hit the key points and hopefully get an outcome.
Public submissions to the council close on Monday and preparation is already underway in the lead up to the next council meeting in October. This is Georgia Raven reporting for Undercurrent.
And she's back again. We've certainly had her working very hard. This time, Christy took to the streets of Perth to ask you if you think the interest rates on our Australian home loan mortgages are too high.
The average Australian house price has increased drastically over the past couple of years. with our mortgage interest rate still being around 5.2% compared to UK's 2.8%. What does this mean to the average Australian? Today, we hit the streets of Perth to find out.
I've got a pretty good interest rate. It's like 5.2 or something, so it's pretty good. It's been on hold for about 12 months now, so that's been good. It's very good that it's been on hold because, you know, it makes a big difference to the household budget. Every time it goes up, the direct debit has to go up and then other payments have to go on the back burner, or you have to make, you know, adjustments elsewhere. So it's very good for a young family with our first home. I hope they don't go up.
I think it becomes a little bit difficult as the years go by, and with the young ones that are actually starting their new homes, I certainly think it's quite hard for them.
It's relatively low actually, historically low, probably the lowest it's ever been for the long period that it's been that low. So for Australia, it's really good.
It's pretty low at this point in time. I mean, it's good for me.
It's all right at the moment in Australia, but in the UK, you're looking at it's like 0.5%, but you get more interest rates here on your money in the bank anyway. So at the moment, yeah, everything's fine.
But you can't compare one economy to another economy. It depends on a lot of conditions.
And the UK is facing a different set of circumstances. Their banking system's collapsed, their housing prices have collapsed, and they're in recovery mode, whereas we didn't suffer through that. So our economic circumstances are massively different.
I don't agree with it. Reserve Bank puts it at what, 1.5%, and why the bank's charging 4.5, 5.9 and all this sort of stuff. Don't agree with it.
I was on a special deal to take out a lower interest rate for 2 years, and because of the interest rate rise, I've had some difficulties and had to move my job. So yeah, I think it needs to go down a bit.
And my daughter, she's getting married in a couple of months, and you know they're finding it a little bit hard as well.
The interest rates at the moment, I think, is pretty low, which is good. I think, well, considering the economy at the moment. So I think housing affordability at the same time is not very good. I guess house prices are too high at the moment for Perth. Yeah.
Believe it or not, it's risky. It changes too much, and you don't know, how it'll be. That's the main thing. But most of all, by the look of it, it's better maybe to buy, but make sure you've got a background like safety. Renting, it's too high.
Someone's making a lot of money.
Might be much lower.
And it's not me.
Well, there you have it, Perth. We may not be the UK, but it's not too late to buy your Australian dream home. This has been Kristy Muller for Undercurrent.
And yes, everything seems to be so expensive these days. Well, time to grab a cup of tea, time for a quick commercial break here on Undercurrent. Catch you again soon.